Deze is hartstikke awesome Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss, and we got a special guest, our buddy, main gang member. This is what, his third time on?
Third.
Angel, what's up, my friend?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
What's up? We're going to have a fun time. And yes, let's do this. Let's go. This is our first Patreon episode, so thank you guys all for supporting and joining in and just, either Patreon or listen to podcast Thursday morning. So,
Dude, it's
all right.
weird
So
not
first
having the insiders to kind of go back and forth with those.
I know. Hope some get started on right
cool.
now. So we will see how this goes. But this is going to be a great journey and great first step in the right direction. So first off, of course, let's get going with Virtual Fight Tour. We have Keaton, New York coming up, and that is September 24th, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's going to be a big weekend, a great tournament in that New York, that
like
northern
away.
area, man, just the Northeast. It's going to be huge.
It's crazy. That's like that's one of the biggest ones for people like me and all of us out here. That's like our that's like when we talk about like a local, we treat that as like a national. Like
Right.
So that's like a super local.
when I tell you
A super
everybody
region.
like in our area, we all want to be called that King of New York. Like being
For
called the
real.
King of New York is like,
I like it.
throughout the years, New York is known for so many things, whether it's basketball, baseball, anything. Like they always say New York's the Mecca. So if you could be called the King of New York, I mean it, puts a stamp on you, and that's a good win to get before you go into Diamonds. So it's
Yeah.
definitely big.
And you know what? I think it's at the perfect time of year, and it's really starting to develop. Because September just nothing.
And that
Right.
is, man, when I tell you I've gone to that tournament since it started, I mean, you've had international competitors like Connor McGlitchley from Ireland come out.
Right.
You've had Ramon Fernandez from Puerto Rico come out to that tournament. That's a serious tournament, man. So
Yeah. I was hoping I was going to be able to make it, but not this time.
again, bro, come
Yeah, I
on.
know.
You're killing me here. Again.
We got some family things to do, so it's a lot
Gotcha.
going on, man. But yeah.
Just don't end.
All right, so Alex, you're gonna be last on this on what you did this weekend. But
Oh, that's cool.
Angel, what's up, man? What how was your weekend? You didn't have a podcast this week, so we wanted to let you join in on the fun.
Yeah, no. Hey, listen, well, first things first, my weekend was filled with Cobra Kai. I am watching it in stages. I am not doing what everyone else has done where they binge watch it.
Yeah.
I'm doing like literally 3-4 episodes at a time. And
Nice.
it's killing me because I want to watch more,
Yeah.
but it's making me appreciate this so much more. So that's all my weekend was Cobra Kai, pizza, food, drinks. That's it. There was nothing more. That's all I was doing.
That's crazy to think 3 to 4 episodes at a time is
It
not
kills-
binging.
It's burning me because I want to watch it, but I'm like, stick to the 3. Stick to the 3.
That would be binging for me. Like 3 episodes, 4 episodes, that would be binging.
That's binging? Yeah.
And I like, dude, when we get a chance to watch TV, it's typically like 11 at night.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
we got like an hour.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
But-
I understand that. It's the same way. It's like I can't just sit I like the whole, all right, it's going to come out Wednesday morning or Tuesday and I'll watch it and that'll be, I'm doing that right now with the reality show, the Kitty Kai one, because their new episode came out yesterday. And so I watched that. But yeah, so they released 3 and then now they're doing 1 every week. So
I gotta get on that. I wanna
Yeah.
watch
Just-
that.
it's-
Angel,
it's
you're
just-
not a fan.
I want to watch it, but this is my thing, and this is kind of like how I am when it comes to Master Ken and everything. I take what we do so serious, and I take myself serious in what we do that I can't just let anyone else make fun of it. Like I like, you know, I just.
Well, I don't think that's it. I don't think they're trying to make fun of it. I think.
Oh no, definitely not. But I gotta watch it
for it. Yeah.
I definitely gotta watch it for myself.
You don't like Master Ken?
I met him in person. All right, quick story. I met him in person at Super Show, and he needed volunteers. So Canel is like, Team Revolution is going to like volunteer. You don't have a say. And after I saw Edgar get fucked, I cannot sit there and let Master Ken grow and stomp me and put a gun in my butt and do all this other stuff. Like I had Edgar. I have a video of Edgar he got wishbone attack.
Oh my god.
So
well, all right then. All right.
We're starting hot on Patreon.
Yeah. No, wait. It's not even that you don't like Master Ken. It's that you're just like, you can't do that to my guy.
You are not about to put, like, he had his legs up and he's on his back. You ain't doing that. You ain't doing. I will send you guys a video after. We are not doing it at all.
Wow. Yeah, no.
Man. See this?
All right. So, anyways, all right. So that was Angels weekend.
What about you, homie?
Let's see. I had a big belt test Friday, Saturday, had a birthday party at the school, you know, busy stuff. Sunday was my dad's birthday. You know, I had training, and I have a lot of stuff going on over this next, let's see, just me, myself. And when I say black belt test, I mean like ones that I'm actually doing. So I'm doing a 1st degree black belt test for a style called Defense Lab. Oh, what's up? We got one. Let us know who is watching. We got one person watching from Patreon. Was in and out, but we'll see.
Man, it don't matter. We're gonna be great.
So, so I have called Defense Lab. So that will be coming on October 8th. And the thing is, I'm doing my test after a 2-day camp. So I'm be training with them for 2 days, and then at the end of it, they're gonna do my test. And they actually will be having, you know, the guys that live in Europe that will be on the Zoom link watching it as well. It's very intense. Like if I take my eye off of the person running the test, automatic fail. Okay. If I don't like
wait.
Yeah.
If you take your eye off the person running the test for a moment.
Yeah. That's the rule. Yeah. Automatic fail. If I don't do my body mechanics at one point, if I just if I just stand up, or if I don't do my blocks and everything to get up, there's a lot of different things with that. That's supposed to be an automatic fail. So I have a lot going on with that. And then, you know, some other things I have to do with my, for what would be considered my 6th degree or mastership coming up at the end of October. So it's a week after Diamonds. So I have Diamonds. I have new forms I'm learning. As soon as I get off the plane from Diamonds, I'm supposed to start fasting for 3 days, and then do the next test. So yeah, it's wild, man. Because normally after a tournament, I would be, you know, getting myself re-upped. What's up, Angel?
So how are they gonna know if you're fasting or not? I just really want to know. Like, are they gonna come and check you? Like, or does this have to be like is this like an honesty test? I just want to know.
I mean, my instructor doesn't live that far from here, so he's going to be checking on me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm
checking on you. Who's got time to do that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I have lots of other things I hadn't even shared that I have to do for this thing to finish up. But you know, the way it is, it's like everything fell in the same weekend. Because for me, Diamonds has really been my goal for the whole year. And then the next week is this next one. So I have a lot of things I have to present. New forms that I created for the style, new ways of doing stuff. I have some seminars I'm doing that weekend as well for the people. So there's a banquet that night. It's just a busy time, man. So I can't wait till October's done.
Dude, why don't you do like an Ironman triathlon while you're at it?
Yeah. So I'll get into one of my things that I had to do, but I'll talk about that later. That just kind of came out from that. But Yeah, man. So we got lots to talk about our life in martial arts. Alex, so let's get into the story. Let's
All right.
hear about your
You gotta hear
weekend
this.
because this is gonna be great.
This is some exciting stuff and some BS all at the same time. So, all right. So we all are in martial arts. At one point, we've all had a buddy go, "Oh, you do karate? Yeah, my kid takes karate, but they do like theirs is like the best." And you're like, "All right, whatever." And you eye roll, right? So the guy tells me this is when we first meet, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he does. He did Shotokan karate. Now he does Inshinryu, and that's better. Like you just do Taekwondo, right? Oh yeah, his is way better than you." And I'm like, okay. And he's like, but he keeps going because he doesn't know yet, right? Keeps going, and I'm like, but it's all the same, right? And he goes, but it's not. And I'm like, but it is, right? And he goes, no, it's not. And I'm like, but it kind of is, but you don't know yet because he's a yellow belt. Well, we'll find out. Like it's all gonna come out in the wash. So then I was like, oh, like 6 months ago. He's been in karate for like I think like a year. He's been doing karate.
All right.
So he tells me like a week ago. He says, "Yeah, Jacob's gonna do his first karate tournament." I'm like, "Man, get out of here! That's great." Wait, I ain't heard about no karate tournament. Where's this karate tournament? And he says it's like 35 minutes, 40 minutes from my house, right? And I'm like, I've never heard of this, right? And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be right over here." And I'm like, all right. And I'm like, well, what's he doing? He goes, oh, he's gonna do kata and he's gonna do sparring. I was like, man, I didn't know he did sparring. And he goes, oh yeah. And I'm like, well, what kind of gear does he have? And he goes, he doesn't have any gear. And I went, time out. What do you mean? And he goes, oh, he just kind of uses gear in the karate school. And I'm like, so just like communal gear? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, so when is he going to get his own gear? And he goes, I don't think he's ever going to. And I'm like, all right, this is the level. So I'm only saying this to kind of let you know, like, this is kind of giving you a backstory of what
of the organization. Yeah.
What I'm walking into. So I go, you know what? I'll go. Let's kind of be there. You need something because you don't even know what you're about to walk into. I don't know what you're about to walk into, but whatever it is, I bet I know more than you. Right. So I go, and the day before, he's like, dude, this is great. You're going to go and fight? This is fantastic. And I'm like, I didn't say anything about that. Right. And he goes, dude, you totally gotta. And then I started to think about it. My kids have never seen me do karate before. They've never seen me. They've never seen me do anything. Now, I didn't say yes because I'm like, now, at this point, I'm still in a walking boot from the car accident I had like a month ago, right? So I'm still in a walking boot. So he starts talking about this. So like I took the walking boot off like a day, 2 days. 2 days before.
Friday.
Right?
Friday. Yeah.
Took it off on Friday. Right. So I'm like, because of this, I'm like, oh, let's at least walk on 2 feet, right? Before I'm going to do a karate tournament. So I go there and it's, you know, for us, we've all seen it a million times. A small gym with 4 rings. And they only use 2, you know, for the whole tournament. You're like, yeah, been there, done that. I see it. It's whatever, you know, they don't know. And then all they have, this is the divisions they have: kata, sparring. That's it. Now, I looked at the registration. This will bring you back into like a time machine. This is what it said. Registration, $35.
Wow.
Get this.
We'll start competing there.
Spectators, $3.
Whoa. All righty.
5 and under is free.
For free, right? Yeah.
So me paying to fight is cheaper than if I paid really a spectator pass for my own for any other tournament, right?
Right.
Let alone I get to go too, and I'm like, this is too much, man. So I'm in there, and he's like, dude, what do you think? And I'm like, I think I just went into a time machine, and I'm in 1987, right? He goes, oh, this is awesome, right? And I'm like, man, I'm just glad, I'm proud, your boy's here. What's he doing? And he goes, oh, he's doing kata. And I'm like, all right, well, he should warm up, right? So sure enough, he misses his division, right? Whatever. They let him go and compete in a different division that he won. I mean, he was a yellow belt, right? He was a yellow belt. And he goes, how did he do? Now, I didn't say he's a yellow belt. It's They're all the same. But he actually did pretty good. So I was like, hey, Jacob did pretty good. He's like, so you're going to fight? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just put it out there, but I don't know if there's anybody. So sure enough, they say, everybody come on over here. They call me. Nobody. This is the crazy thing. Nobody knows who I am.
That's awesome.
I don't know anybody.
Those are the best ones, man.
And
Those are the best ones.
I've never had that. I've never had anything, because I've had times where sure people don't know who I am, right? But I would at least know somebody. They don't know me. I don't know them. I'm literally a fly on the wall. So cool, right? So, but then from across the gym, this guy could see him, and he's like coming up to me, a huge smile, and he goes, Alex. And I'm like, hey, and he goes, man, great to see you. And I'm like, man, great to see you. Have we met? And he goes, oh no, but I watch the podcast every week with you and Jeff.
Yes.
Could not believe it.
Oh,
Greatest thing. So much better than if he would have been like, oh man, I saw you fight before this one time and you're great. That means nothing compared to what you said. So Steve, I hope you're on Patreon now, Steve. The guy's name is Steve. Super cool guy, really awesome. So even he admitted, he goes, oh yeah, this tournament's so old. This is old school. This is way old school. Now, at one point, right, the guy goes, okay, there's no one for you to fight. And I'm like, I kind of thought maybe that might be the case. And he goes, but this guy said, hey, you came all this way. Let's at least give you a fight. I'm like, oh, thanks very much. And he goes, yeah, I know you probably wanted to get your feet wet a little bit. Kid you not, that's what he said. You probably want to get your feet wet a little bit, And so I'm like, well, okay, thanks.
so he thinks like you don't do any karate, like your first time.
Yeah.
Right.
They've
Never done this before. Right. So I'm like, well, I just really appreciate it. I just really wanted to have my kids to see me get a chance to compete. And I've not done this tournament before, so I don't really know much about it. And he's like, oh, okay. So now I'm sitting around talking to Steve. And this is one of those tournaments where they stop the whole tournament and tell everybody the rules for fighting. So nobody is doing anything for a very extended period of time. And I'm like, my head's like this. I'm doing one of these things. I'm like, I can't even believe what's happening right now. Right?
Yeah, we still have those.
Then I'm having a conversation with Steve.
Yeah.
Right? And my buddy's like right here. I'm having a conversation with Steve, but I'm listening to what they're saying. And the guy goes, yep, everything's 1 point. And I went, everything's 1 point, is it?
They're already ahead.
I'm like, no, they're not. So I'm like, interesting. And then he says it. First to 3 points wins.
Wow.
Yes.
And I went, oh my goodness. And I start to look around and I realize like nobody has a headgear on. Nope. Nobody has a headgear on at all. Right. So I'm like, this is super strange. So then my buddy, who's like his kid, is like borrowed someone's gear, and he's like, hey, should Jacob wear a headgear? And I'm like, yes, he should wear a headgear. And he's like, but I don't know, people aren't wearing it. And I'm like, listen, I'm about to say the daddest thing ever. But if all of his friends jumped off a bridge, right? I'm like, don't make me say the daddest thing ever. I literally said that. And he's like, you think, but he's never trained with one. And I go, listen, I'm not going to fight with one, but that's just different. That's me. And I know that the likelihood of him touching me in the head at all is very low. Jacob has never done a karate tournament before.
Right.
And he's wearing glasses.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not only should he take the glasses off, he should wear a headgear. And I tried, he still wasn't on board. But then I said, listen, when you have a headgear on, it's a subconscious thing. You hit what you see, so you hit the headgear. The headgear is off. You hit what you see, so you hit eyes, nose, and mouth. It's just what happens. Nobody does it intentionally. It's just what happens, right? So he goes, oh, good point. So he goes, I got to find one. I'm like, here, he can wear mine. So now I'm out there. The guy's still doing all the telling of the rules. And he goes, yeah, groin kicks are legal. I'm like, what? What is happening? Groin kicks are legal. So I go up. So I'm telling my buddy, And he goes, "Are you going to kick the guy in the groin?" And I'm like, "We're not doing any groin kicks." And he goes, "But you just said." And I'm like, "Listen, I'm going to make for certain there's no groin kicks. That is never going to happen." It's like, "How are you going to do that?" And I'm like, "I'm just going to go tell him." So that's what I did. I walked right up to him and I go, "Hey, man, thanks for the match. This is going to be great. We're not going to do this groin kick stuff." And he goes, "Oh, no. It's in the rules. It's okay." And I go, "No, I understand. We're not doing that, though." And he goes, "Oh, come on, man. Let's do that. This is the way you fight." And I go, "Listen, I'm just going to say it right now. You really do not want to do that." And then he starts to get pissed, right? It was the third time I had to say it, right? So he's like, he's talking to some guy over here. Like, the grind kick sounds. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I know I'm going to win, but it's like, I don't want to get my nuts racked, right?
Right.
You see where this is going now, Angel.
Yeah.
So then we go up, and now I realize like he's got some animosity. So right before we touch gloves, I go, "Listen, so I want to tell you, I'm not about to tell a man what to do. You do whatever you want." Just thought I put my PSA out there. Now the center referee is barking at me. He's like, "Yeah, man, back up. Let your hands and feet do the talking. Back up." And I'm like,
Oh wow. Oh man.
nobody. That's the thing is, I'm like, nobody knows, but nobody cares, and I'm like, all right, this is fine.
Oh, I would have been like, "Yo, you don't know what you just heard this. You just heard this dude." Like, oh.
So I'm like, all right. Now here's the other thing. When I went to grab my bag, I've been in a boot for like over a month.
Right.
I don't have a uniform in my bag, so I'm grabbing through all my fighting uniforms. I got the first uniform I could find, which is a WKC WKC Team Guatemala uniform. So that's what I fought in.
The motherfucker think you're Guatemalan. Oh my god.
Yeah. How cool is that? Hey, at least I won, right? Spoiler alert, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so we'll go out there. So I tell him that, and then he's like, "Bag up, let your hands and feet do the talking." So now he starts coming at me like the old man style, like really old man style, right? So I'm
He's
like,
kind
all
of
right,
an old man.
and then I'm like, so he sure does it. He makes one like swipe of like a front kick by my groin. I'm moving, and I'm like, all right, I gave you the opportunity. I'm gonna destroy you, right? He picks his foot up, he puts his foot down, and I'm telling you, I sidekicked this guy so hard he did a backward somersault. Right?
Yeah.
Jeff saw the video. There is a video out there that my buddy sent me, so I sent it to Jeff. What I'm saying is true, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not embellishing.
Poor guy.
All I wanted
I still don't believe that part. I'm just letting you know.
I'm gonna
I
send it to
still
you
don't
too.
believe that part.
But I
I
gotta
will
see
send it to you too. I will send it to you, Trev. Listen. So then, but I'm still like, he's still got an attitude, right? So I want to give him one more hard shot. So he comes up to me. We're in an open stance. He's got his left side, and he's real low. He is like running a refusal to protect his face. But I know if I hit this guy hard, like in the face or in the head, they're just gonna DQ me, and then everybody's gonna be mad. So I'm like, don't do that. But I'm gonna rack the shit out of him, right? So I back ridge hand him in the chest so hard I dropped him, right? And now I'm like, all right, point is done. Hit the guy a couple times hard, point's done. We're just gonna do karate now, right?
But that's only 2 points, so you still have 3 more to get.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot to tell you this. So
They added
before
it. Yeah.
starts, the center referee goes, all right, guys, for this match, and he looks around, he's doing one of these things. We're going first to 5. And the crowd goes, woo.
Yo, hold on, man. Because you talked about I don't want growing kicks, he said I'm gonna go first to 5, thinking like you're about to get freaking spanked all the way to 5 points. Oh,
Yeah.
this is great.
This is classic, dude. This is
This
great.
guy is
Great
making
about it
tough.
is he said, first to 5, and everybody's like, oh, wow, 5 points. I've never seen one of these things before, right? I can't make this shit up, right? So now I've hit him a couple times hard. Now we're just fighting, right? I hit him one time. I did throw one kick at his head, right? It was one of those where like you could tell the whole time he's trying to like hurt me, but he's just cannot understand the space that I have. Like I'm probably 3 times further away than he's ever really been used to. So which is frustrating him more, right? So he just can't figure it out. So one time I blitz him, and I'm like,
Before this though, he hit you. He did like try to take your leg out. He like hit you in the leg.
He did.
Oh,
a
yeah,
drag-
he was trying to like. Well, he was. I think he. Now that I think back, I think he was trying to like round kick me in the groin, but I just moved, so he just
Yeah, and
kicked my leg.
he hit your leg. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they kind of gave him a warning. No leg kick.
And one time he tried to spin back kick to your nuts. That was kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, that looked
Yeah.
like. Well,
So this
Look-
guy's whole game plan was, I'm gonna hit your nuts the whole. Oh shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And now that I think back on it, I think I might be the only person to kick above the nuts the whole day.
Oh yeah. No, that's just,
I'm not exaggerating, right? So I've hit him a couple times, you know. Now
Definitely
I'm
was
winning.
not a taekwondo tournament.
I think I got like 3, or I got 4. I think is what I've got. But I blitzed the guy, boom, boom, and you know when you blitz and you just boom and you run into each other and you're like chest to chest. Okay, listen, I gotta show you. I gotta stand up and show
Wait.
you. I gotta
Like-
show you what the heck this guy.
wait. Let me. Let's go. Let's go, man. Show me this.
You see this? I blitzed. You see this, Angel? You see
His
this?
arm is right there. Yeah.
Yo.
I
A little
blitzed
better
him,
in the video, but yeah.
and so he just reaches down and grabs me.
He grabs your nuts.
Look.
Yo, he has a handful. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
So, right.
This is the best.
You know what kills
This
me?
is after he
It's like-
brings it
I
out.
look down in amazement, like I cannot believe this is real. This is not happening. So
Hey.
I look down, and
Yo.
I'm pissed.
The
And now I
best
start
part-
barking at him, and I'm like, "You can't even try and say that you were striking. You just grabbed my nuts, right?" So the center gets in, and he's like, "Hey, don't worry this," and I'm like, "Hey, he grab. What do you want me to do?" He grabs my nuts.
Dude,
Right?
his face. Look at his face.
like, pissed off, like he doesn't.
So pissed. I'm so pissed. Right? And look at the gym. Like go back and more. Look at. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
Right? Look at. There's no one there.
Yo, I'm sorry, but just look at
You
the.
see how nobody's got headgear. Oh, there looks like there's a couple of people with headgears on. I
That's
didn't notice that one time. So I fight the guy, and I'm doing this. Yeah, look at how pissed I am.
Oh
Look at
god.
that. And this is all one match. This is just one match, right? And I just want to put it out there. I am definitely not back. I did this only so I could continue to do karate, right?
Oh, your kids saw you get grabbed in the nuts, and they didn't. Oh yeah, this is not.
That's what's some of the funniest parts too. Is like every time Alex does something, his daughter's like the loudest cheerleader. She's like, "Yeah, did you see that was so awesome?" So
Yeah.
you know your daughter's probably pissing them off even more. But it's like,
Oh, absolutely.
oh yeah, it's hilarious.
At one point, she's like, "How are you doing, Daddy?" And
Yeah,
I'm
"Are you
talking
okay,
to her as I'm
Daddy?"
fighting, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm doing great, sweetie girl. I'm doing fine, right?" Which I imagine might upset him, but I wasn't doing anything to him. My daughter's talking to me. I care more about her than you. Sorry, right?
Yeah, that
That's-
was right. That was you said that right before he grabbed your nuts. Actually,
Oh, it might have been.
yeah.
So that happened. So I'm yelling at him, and then the guy. So the center referee's like, "Oh no. I'll take it up with him. Yeah, this right here,
Oh,
right?"
Sorry, I got a little.
So-
I just had to screenshot a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Look at I'm even motioning, right?
like
So-
you can see, he's so upset, and the guy has a faded black
Look at
beat.
that.
Oh my
Bro.
god.
You know where the black uniform so old as gray.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
So
what's
I
funny
tell
is
the
he was
guy-
trying to
I
like.
tell him what happens.
He's trying to like say that he like palm struck your nuts or something like
Yes.
that.
He's like,
Like,
"Oh no,
still,
it's
that
like a
don't make it
palm
any
strike."
better.
So he gives him a warning. He goes, "All right, there's your warning." And then it's so old school, you know, like where they were like, "Oh, take the warning." You know what I'm talking about? Like back in
Yeah.
the day when people used to do that. "Oh, if you're losing, just take the warning." All the time. You get old scrubs who would do that. So now I'm gonna kill this guy, right? But I can only do one more shot, right? Stop
Sorry.
zeroing in on my nuts.
I can't. That's just doing it fast motion is so crazy.
For you guys listening, we're looking at the screenshots of
Oh,
of
I
the
suppose,
actual,
if you're just listening,
nut
you weren't
attack.
seeing that would be
Yo, it
confusing.
looked like he lifted you up the ground just a little bit. Like he.
It's so crazy. So
He should've
now
got a
the
point, right?
guy, he won't come near me, right? Because I told him like I didn't tell him I was gonna do it, but I basically was like, I'm gonna freaking kill you, right? So he won't come near me. But Angel, how do you think I got the last point when we ended?
Oh, I'm. If that's me, I'm kicking him with a back leg round kick, hard as shit.
That would be nice. The guy kept running, right?
Yeah.
But I probably could have done that. I probably could have. I asked Travis this, and he was dead on, right? I wanted to spin kick him.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wouldn't come to me,
Right.
and I'm like, if I land it going to you, you're going out.
Well,
right?
especially you in your spin kick.
Right.
I don't know, man. I haven't landed one in a long time.
Nah, but you know what I mean, bro. You know what I mean. You one of those people that like you got like dynamite on your spin kick. You know that. You one of
When
those.
I was throwing them, yeah, but man, it's weird. I tell you, it's only 3 years since I fought. It feels like 15. All right.
Yeah.
Oh man. If this was a whole tournament, nope, couldn't do it. No
So,
chance.
so after he grabbed you in the nuts, you started fighting more like a '90s fighter, just like
I was a 90s fighter the whole
He was
time.
90s fighter the whole time, dude.
The whole time. Jeff was
Yeah.
like, dude, use this 1996 right here. So I'm like, I'm gonna destroy you, right? So I axe kick him in the face and then
Finish with a
make
body
sure
punch.
make sure I hit the ribs hard.
Yeah.
It was go home. But then here's a weird thing, right? So that it's all done. All right, touch gloves, leave. I walk over to my buddy because it's who my daughter is too. And he goes, "Did you win?"
What? Like, what were you watching?
Yeah. He goes, "Did you win?" Right?
It was just so funny. It's like, wait a
I
minute.
couldn't get it. I'm like, did you just not?
Did you
get
not
it?
watch
'Cause
this?
I feel like that was pretty obvious, right?
That was the most funniest part of the whole video to me was like, did you win? Like, what? Okay. Yeah. I'm like, he knocked him to the ground twice, 3 times. He took his headgear off. Well, no headgear. Sorry. He took his head off with an axe kick once, and then he body punched him. It's like, come on. It was wild. But yeah, so what a world, man.
Yeah.
that would make me stop competing again.
Yeah. Have you?
Well,
All right.
and it
So,
did.
Angel, we kind of talked about this. This kind of goes back to like walking into the twilight zone at karate tournaments. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
I was literally thinking about Angel's experience.
exactly.
Virginia. Yeah.
Literally was thinking about that same thing.
Yeah.
Like how you said like it only had 4 rings. Like they had more rings when we went to Danville,
Yeah.
but it was just like when you just walked in, you just like saw like it was like I looked, I was like, oh, this is like this is just so different. Like something's like Alex, you're one of the biggest people that harps on like, oh, do these people judge with a black belt on? Do they judge with their gi on? And it's like, yes, like that's all you saw.
Oh, yeah.
There. Like that's all. Like, listen, and I'm one of the biggest people, and I know I said this on the show before. You can't have a judge that's in a wheelchair. That's where you lost me. Like that's where Jeff. You know what I'm saying, Jeff.
That's
You
my
know what I'm
instructor.
saying.
That's my instructor.
My bad.
One of my instructors.
Jeff, my bad, but you know what I'm saying.
I
Like
know.
I was
I
just
know.
like, no, like he's got to at least be able to move. Like he can't move it won't work.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna work the right
He
way.
has a scooter. He has a scooter, and so he can move, but I don't know.
It is hard. I gotta tell you, when you're fighting, because like I'm still in the gym every week. I'm still in the studio. We're still training,
Yeah,
but it's totally different. Like I can be there every week, but if you're just not competing,
and then you
Right.
just go. Into
oh
it.
man, it just
Yeah. It's
your
completely different.
level drops.
Yeah.
Okay, we all know this. You take 2 weeks off of training. When you go back that next week, feels like you've been gone 6 months.
Oh,
right?
it's done.
Yeah.
You're like relearning the whole process. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So if you're just out of practice of watching and judging high speed matches,
Mm-hmm.
you can't be
No,
expected.
no.
You can't expect that out of yourself. It's just
No,
too much.
That's why it's wild to me, these people that come in out of nowhere, don't even, but they're grandmaster of this or that, and they think they can judge. It's like you have to
It's too
you have
much.
to be watching this all the time, going to them like all the time. Like just like you were saying as a competitor, same thing should happen as a judge. Like it's the same thing. If you haven't watched or judged a tournament for 3 or 4 years, you're kind of out of it a little bit, Like even for me, when I was only coordinating for like 4 or 5 years and I went to a tournament and judged, even though I'd been to
Different world.
tournaments every weekend, been a part coach, competed, all that, it was just a whole different world because it's like, whoa, wait a minute. I got to get my mind back to looking at this in this certain way,
Yo, let me tell you something. Just on
Yeah.
that, even the people that are judging out there, it's still just a different world from tournament to tournament. And I'm only saying that because from like late July all the way through like my last tournament in August, I fought Bailey for grands at every single event. Like it just came down to us for every single event somehow. And I'm not joking. There was one time we're fighting. Terry Kramer like judged us like 3 straight weeks. And like the last time we fought, we blitzed. And you should never hear this, but like Terry Kramer said, no call, it was too fast, I couldn't see. Fight. And we both went like, what the hell? Like you can't tell us like it was too fast, you couldn't see it like that. Like I'd much rather have you just say like no point than say like too fast, couldn't see it, fight. And everyone else,
I mean, nobody likes that, but I actually appreciate the transparency.
like he was honest. Right. After we both were like, me, Bailey, and TC, we both chuckled. He was just like, listen, I got my glasses on. I still couldn't see some of the stuff you guys throw. But it's just like how you said, like, if you're not in it all the time, even the people that are, they're like, yo, I can't even see it. Like, it's just too fast. So, yeah.
And
all right, so walking into Twilight Zone.
Too.
Say again?
TC's still there. Like, he's still around.
Yeah, exactly. Everywhere. Yeah.
And, I had to do that. I remember AKA 2020.
AKAs was like that. Yep.
But I remember in AKA 2020, like the last tournament.
Oh, yeah.
It was real. You know what I mean? They were asking me to judge different divisions, and I'm like, I don't think I can do this. And they're like, what are you talking about? This is Alex. Come on over here and judge. I'm like, what is the division? I think, it was junior girls traditional weapons. And I'm like, listen, I'm not your guy.
Yeah.
That's you no. And they're like, no, you know the scores, you just go like this for the range. And I'm like, no, listen, I would love to do this because I have nothing else to do. And it's high level karate.
Right.
But I am definitely not your guy.
Alex, bro, you should have said that at fucking AKs this year because you almost got jumped, man. We had a.
Oh, I know.
Dude, I didn't even do anything bad. I didn't make any bad calls.
Oh man!
But you ever notice?
Travis to ask me,
Cam wanted to kill me.
For Travis to ask me and say, "What happened to Alex?" I heard he almost got jumped, but we all were like, "Man, Alex was on something else this weekend. Like it was crazy. You thought Jesse was gonna pull him into the back. It was nuts,
dude. It was funny because we were hanging out, and it was like certain people that normally would like talk to me, like were not talking to me. It was kind of crazy. But the thing is, here's the deal, Alex. Though at Capital Classics, those people who are always nice and friendly to me, when I judge them or their family, they kind of act the same way. So it's more of them, not you.
Yeah.
They get upset with anybody who doesn't have them first. And even actually, I think one of our shows might have offended them, but whatever, who cares? I mean, come on, like that's just ridiculous to do that. It's like, I mean, there's someone that's going to win, someone that's going to lose. Get over it. You probably know who I'm talking about, but
I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, it's okay. Listen, people, even though we're not live on Facebook, we still have followers on podcasts, but we don't want you to get on that right now. Anyways,
because I probably would have just said it.
But even at Capital Classics, for me, getting back and judging was fun, but it's also like I was kind of in a bad seat, because the reason why I was put there was because the other judge didn't want to be there because of politics and because of parents complaining about him always as a judge. And so they asked me to take his spot. So it's kind of like, oh man, this ain't a good spot.
No.
That spot's already being looked at, but it is what it is. I judge, and again, I have the most experience of all the judges on the line anyway. Even all right, Mike McCoy was next to me. Yes, he's got a lot of experience, but as far as experience doing what we're judging,
you would have more.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, one more story about. I just got a funny story of, and I might have shared this before. This is a good one. My mom is on, so she'll get a kick out of this one. Talking about going to a Twilight Zone, right? So we go to this one tournament. I think I was 8 or 9 years old. And at the time, my mom was selling martial arts gifts, toys, and jewelry. So we would just find all kinds of random tournaments to go to and sell. And that was one of the ways that, of course, I go compete, but also for us to kind of earn more money, to make more money to save to go to bigger tournaments and stuff like that, right? Especially since the next year I was going to start doing NASCA, as a black belt. So I go in, and as soon as I go in, they're all lined up, and everyone has the exact same uniform on, right? Except me. So it's like there's like, let's say like 10 schools. They're all under the same organization. The only difference is like the instructors have a different color uniform than the students. All the students have white uniforms. The instructors of each school have like either blue or red. And that was like it, right? So it's all this. I walk in there, guess what kind of uniform I had on?
Blue.
1992.
Oh, you got white and black.
Nope.
Red.
Close.
What is? Tell me now.
I got red, white, and blue, the Stars and Stripes uniform.
That's dope.
Bro, I got the Stars and Stripes uniform, like the old, like Bill Wallace one, the canvas one from Century that was super heavy back in the day, right?
That's actually kind of cool, though. I'm not gonna lie. That's
Do
actually
you still have these uniforms? I mean, I know they don't fit. Do you still have any of these?
So you still have one.
It would not definitely fit. I was 8 years old. Okay.
Well, I know.
I can still wear my black belt that I wore when I was 13, but 8, no, can't do that. Okay.
Christ, what did you get? A 6? God.
No, it's a size 3, bro.
What?
You cannot fit a size 3.
You know my gray belt that I wear? I've had that since I was 13.
A size 3, Jeff?
Yeah, size 3 Takedo, man. I can still kind of. I mean, it's
So
like
you're telling me your waist has stayed the same since you were 12?
It hadn't stayed the same. It's kind of fluctuated a little bit, but it's back in a good point right now. I'm back in a good shape. Okay, let's just say. So anyways, so again, I'm like everyone turns and looks at me when I have this red, white, and blue uniform on, right? So I do my forms, I do my weapons, I win all my divisions. In fighting, I win stuff, and I think I hit someone like a tornado kick or something crazy like that, right? And so by the end of the tournament, I'm just like, man, and no one really talked to me. No one was hanging, in most tournaments you sit and you're next to someone and someone's kind of talking to you a little bit, or you're meeting some friends. It was not like that. Okay. It was not like that at all. And so I go to the bathroom to change, right? And my mom's waiting for me because we're ready to leave. And all she hears is like noise. And well, as soon as I go in, like a group of 4 or 5 of this karate school comes in. And she's like, oh God, and she didn't want to like send someone in with me just to make sure I'm all right. All she heard was just loud, like yelling and people and like things moving and stuff. So in her mind, I'm getting jumped, right? She's like, oh God, they're jumping someone. She goes and gets one of the instructors to go and check to see if I'm all right. So, which at one point I kind of thought, all right, this may happen, because the way that they were acting towards me and fighting, pushing me down after the break, things like that, it was getting kind of like that, right? So, but what actually is happening is that they're all like, man, you're that kid that did this and this and that, and you did this, and it's so loud. They're all like getting so loud and excited to like, can you show me this? Can you show me that? Can you show me this? Like, this is just while I'm trying to change, right?
That's way cool.
Yeah. And so it got really loud. So she thought that I was getting jumped or getting in a fight. And instead it was that they were just asking me, and wondering why I was still in there so long. It's like, well, they asked me to do this. They asked me to do this. You're 8 years old. You're kind of like, yeah, I'll show off a little bit. So by the end of it, all of them were just fans of mine, which is pretty funny, right? But that's the kind of the same thing. It's just like walking into the Twilight Zone and you're like the only one, Now this time I was the one wearing the silly uniform, but oh well.
Do you know what I gotta say? That was a freaking cool story, by the way. And I want to ask another question about it. But I forgot to add this piece.
All right, here we go.
The center referee that you saw in the pics, I think his name was Rocky. He was actually a really cool dude. He was like, "Hey man, what's your name?" I said, "I'm Alex." He goes, "Dude, we got to spar together." And I'm like,
"Oh, that's cool."
All right. And he goes, "Dude,
okay.
you got to come around again because we got to spar each other." And he made it feel like
not like hey, I'm gonna spar you and beat you.
Get some of this. He didn't make it sound like that. So I should say that dude's name was, I think his name was Rocky. All right. But he seemed like a pretty cool dude.
For the most part, from what I saw in the video, he seemed actually kind of chill.
Oh yeah, he totally was.
Yeah.
So the kids, when you were saying that, I was thinking in my head, what would my mom do? My mom. Oh, have you ever met my mom before, Jeff?
No. I think I've talked to.
Dope, man. Just wait, Diamonds, dude. You'll see her, and she'll be.
Yeah, my brother. That's right. My brother had a bright blue gi, almost like a Carolina blue gi.
Now that would be cool. See, look how much that would stick out in the sea of white, right?
I know.
My mom and her extra stuff. If you think I'm extra, dude, I'm like a quiet little mouse compared to my mom, right? My mom, 100%, she would have kicked open doors and started yelling at people.
Yeah.
And when she saw nothing was going wrong, she would have yelled at me. She would have yelled at me at the fact that she was even in there. But whatever. That's the difference between your mom and mine.
Listen, my mom, ran up on my stage in the middle of my tournament, so I mean, hey, to stop a fight, so hey. Mama Doss is pretty wild too. Love you, Mom.
Wait, she ran up on the stage to stop
the fight between Brian
stage,
Young.
Right?
Yeah, the fight between Brian Young and Jeremy Roquet.
Yeah, the big one.
And Velocity and Gallios, yeah.
Yeah, she's crazy for that, because with Willie Hicks and Jermon there, you crazy. You know it's about to get crazy. And then Abid is on the other side, or Abeda.
Yeah, Abeda.
Where Travis kills me. Make us say right.
Oh man, yeah. So,
did your mom ever run in the ring, Angel?
No. I'm gonna be real with you. So, like, if that was Jeff, right, and my mom heard that, my mom wouldn't have been like, "Oh God, they're jumping Jeff," or like they're jumping Angel. She would have said like, "Oh, Angel's fighting the kids."
Yeah, right.
Like she would have said like, "I started the fight and I'm like fighting them."
Yeah.
Like when she saw me compete, like I never got the whole like, "Oh, I'm gonna run in the ring." I actually always got yelled at, like, "Oh, why do you hit late? Or why are you pushing people? Or what's your issue?" And this and that. Like I never got the whole like, "Oh, I'm gonna run in the ring and be worried." I got yelled at for the stuff I did. So
yeah.
If anything, like I never ever had to do that. I think the only time I ran in the ring once when Sam was fighting, and that was it. Only one time.
I gotta hear.
Yeah. It was like this. I was like 15, and I just started doing tournaments. And Sam, at that time, he was like in a state where like he didn't know if he wanted to commit completely to just doing traditional forms, because he'll make the stage at Ocean States, or if he wanted to still do fighting. Because again, like I always say, like Sam is a good fighter. Like you can't sleep on him. He's like he's so unorthodox that it works. Like it's just what he does. So he was fighting
hard.
Yeah. Well, this is what it was that he was fighting someone, and they blitzed from like a mile away. And Sam always has this thing where like he knows he can sidekick you, but in his mind he's like, well, I'm gonna hit you with my right hand, and let's just see what happens. So he hit the person, and they got all flustered and upset. And the next exchange, Sam like back fist him, and just the dude like 1, 2, 3 hit Sam, and Sam super chill just goes, "Oh, that was a good one," and he like high-fived him. And the next exchange, like I said, the back leg round kick, I'm saying just the hardest back leg, and then he swept him and punched him in the face on the floor.
Oh, jeez.
And the guy gets up, and when the guy gets up, he went to go and grab like my brother, and I'm 15, and I picked him up and like moved him like out of the ring. And I was like, he ain't even worth it. Like, don't even do that to him. So what I did was, after I'm 15, and I told the dude, I said, in 3 years, you're gonna pay for that. Because I told him when I hit the men's division, you're gonna pay for that. He didn't think nothing of it. He like blew me off. He was trying to like talk trash to me. I got in his face, whatever, and we left the tournament. A year later, he went to Mike Conroy's on a Wednesday night.
Ooh, that was a mistake.
And when that happened, I'm not even joking with you. He came in, and Sam saw him, and Sam and him made up, but I never forgave it. And I was just like, so we go, and they go, all right, coach, we do drills. He's like, all right, 5 slide kicks down the floor. When you're dead tired, all right, put your pads on. Let's do 30 minutes of reps.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, and I look, and I was like, I want you
got a
first.
second burst of energy.
I was like, I want you first.
You first, yeah.
And as soon as we do it, he did like one exchange, threw a spin kick, hit him right in the stomach, and he fell. And he took his stuff off. He was like, I can't. And I in there in front of everyone, I looked at my brother. I said, now we're even. And then I just moved on to the next person. Next person I had Chris Gargulio, my next person, and me and Chris were just bagging each other the rest of the night. Yeah, and Trav, I'm not saying I wasn't a bad kid. I'm just saying, like, again, you guys know it's Sam. So I was taught hit hard first and just do all that stuff first. So it's a little different. But yeah, my mom never was the one to get in the ring. I always got yelled at.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, my mom told off Muhammad Jahan Vash one time.
Yes.
She totally did. See, she was totally wrong, right? She was totally in the wrong. So I was fighting. It was the Diamonds, because what is she gonna go to the New England Open? No, right? So it was the Diamonds, and I was fighting somebody. I won this fight, but I dislocated my elbow, right? Mm-hmm. In the middle of fight. I'm like, oh, and I went, and there was like an exchange where like I did something and like he kicked and I hit him and then I went down. It was the most awkward position. My mom doesn't know anything what happened, right? She knows not. She's watching it, no clue what's happening, right? She can't recall anything. In her mind, he kicked me while I was on the ground, right? So I'm on the ground holding my elbow like, I have no clue what this is. This sucks. My mom comes in and Muhammad's like over me. He's got his hand on me. And my mom comes in and starts yelling. I'm like, F off. I said, give it, la. And Muhammad is like impressed that this woman is coming in here doing this. Doesn't think that she's my mom because she doesn't. My mom looks more like Muhammad Jahan Bash's sister than she does my mom, right? So after everything's done, Muhammad comes to me and goes, is that your mom? And I'm like, yeah, sorry, right? And he's like, is she Persian? And I was like, no, she's Sicilian. And he goes, you sure she's not Persian? I'm like, Mom, pretty sure. Pretty sure, man. He's like, and then he says it. I love his boldness. He goes, you guys don't look nothing alike.
Yeah.
Well, the half, man. I don't know what to tell you.
That's awesome. Muhammad's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
See, my mom is the one that will be the first one to tell me that I sucked that day. Sorry, she wouldn't say sucked. She wouldn't say sucked. She would have said stunk, she's the first one to be like, no, you shouldn't have won that. No, that was awful. That was, yeah. She was probably my hardest, toughest critic, which was good. I needed that because other people, like within, when you're like that top person in your school, everyone's building you up, telling you you're awesome. And a lot of people that happens, and then their parents are like, yeah, he is, And if you don't have someone to kind of counteract that, then you may do well for a while, but you're not gonna go in this thing very long. You know what I mean?
Gotta keep you hungry.
I mean, she believed in me and everything because she's the one that took me everywhere and pushed me, and same thing with my family. But she was also realistic with me, honest with me on what I need to get better at. So yeah, and now my dad's the opposite way. He's the one that's like super supportive. You were the best. Nobody could beat you. That kind of thing, which I love that too. So you need that balance. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I was never, ever the best in my school, ever. I was
Right.
never even the best in my class, right?
At drills, though, you were, remember?
Oh, no. Drills, I'm the freaking bomb, all right? If we're just doing like, all right, we're doing spin kick drills, I'm the best,
Yeah.
all right? I don't care what the drill is, I'm better than anyone. But truth is, like, I'm not better than, like, seeing some of the kids I was in class with. Like, I'm not better than Jerry Wynn.
Right.
I was never better than Nick Wynn. Nick was this is old school. That's 90s.
Yeah.
If you
Nick
remember,
Wynn
I
was
know,
really
I know
good.
you know Nick, but I
We
was
were
never
same
better
division.
than Nick. Nick was, when we would do forms, Nick's way better than me. All right. So it was really strange. I don't think I was ever the best in the school until I became, like, I started teaching. And I think it just kind of like happened, like, oh, I think you're the best now. All right. I was like, sure, that happened by accident. Right.
Yeah.
So I was like 20 by the time I was the best in anything in my school.
Right.
There was always so many guys who were better than me. What about you, Angel?
Yeah. I was just going to say that.
Nah. So for me, to be honest with you, I mean, this is probably gonna line up with you, Alex. So especially going to like Coach Mike since I was 14.
This is
Um,
Well,
list
yeah.
of all-stars over there.
I told y'all like about my group. Like I had like Chris and Hank Robinson and Mark G and all these guys would come down. I mean, it was like literally a star-studded group. Ross would pop in every once in a while. But with like the core group, I was like the one that was the worst at drills. Like I could not do drills, could not do anything. And no joke, Sam, I would hear Coach tell Sam in front of everyone, be like, if I can just get you to do the drills in your fight, we would have no issues. Like it would nothing. Like how you said, Sam can do all the drills and make it look like is not even breaking a sweat. I
Coach
used to
said that to me one time too.
sit there and be like, dude, like I'm busting my butt and I can barely get up like two slide kicks. Like, and you're doing everything else. Like it's nothing.
Right.
But for me, I always excelled when it came to just actually doing the fight. And for me, it wasn't more or less just about it clicking. It was kind of just like it was just kind of just more or less like you're just not going to be better than me. Like whenever he said start and he says stop, like by the time we finish, you're going to know if you're not better than me, like, man, you gave me a run for my money. And I think that's kind of more like the heart. I think that's always the one thing I always had. And especially like how we said, like I was in a room full of all-stars and I was 14. It's very easy to get discouraged. Like,
Yeah,
like being there. So
But
that
then
was
at the same time, like, you're not supposed to win.
but that was my thing. At 14, we all have a chip on our shoulder. I'm the best. I could do this. I'm better than this person. Looking back on it now, I'm like, I deserve to get all what I got to be. Like I deserved all of it, like, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, it was just for me. I was never good at drills. But when it just came to like, even when it came to kata, like Jeff, like I would not do good if you told me sit in my stances for 3 seconds, hold your pose, keep your arm out, like doing all that. I couldn't do it that good. You tell me to do my form, and I'll do it way better than you saw me just do sections.
Right.
It was always how it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I know for me, like that was why I needed to be on a team. And I was blessed to be on a team because of the workouts and being around those people, because I needed to be around some people that were, now I had some older guys that were good and were at that level, but they weren't competing at the level I was competing at. You know what I mean? Like I wish they would have, but none of them at that time did until later. A few of them did, like Edwin Alejandro and Eric Wilson later on did. But, for me to be able to go and train with Jason and Trevor and Claire and those, that helped me big time,
And
one
at
of the
the
things,
time
and
that you did it too, because it's not just that, all right, I got to go train with Jason, and I got a chance to train with Claire and Trevor. It's you were training with them, as great as they are, but at the time that you were training with them too, man.
That
whole CJB squad.
Yeah, it was great, man. And the thing is too, we had a lot of good people that were like great martial artists that still maybe, people didn't really know how great they were. Like Conroy is really good at picking some people that people aren't looking at. You know what I mean?
Man,
like
you guys
look at Russ Taylor is someone that no one was looking at, and that dude to me for a time was the greatest super lightweight You know, for
Yeah,
about 5
for real.
years, a good 5 years, he was the best. You know, even you know, again, Freddie LePan, you know, someone who could step in and do anything. You know, Renee, you know, Josh Horridge,
You
a
know,
lot of those guys.
you know
So,
what? If you look at everyone and like you
Tom
saying
Roberts.
yeah, Tom Roberts. You know, like
Alright.
you saying we got you, Alex. You know, you saying like how like he picks people that no one was really looking at. You know what it was, Jeff? He picked people that were coachable.
Oh yeah, of course.
And that's what it was. It was because I mean, dude, I still say it, man. Like a lot of like that group that I fought with in those Wednesday nights, they were the guys that only showed up at New England, Ocean State, and maybe like Capitals, America every once in a while. But they were the guys that were making stage, but they wouldn't go to no other events. But they're making stage there.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like he finds the talent, man. That man is able to find talent and he grows it up. And also something else I wanted to say, which I know you're gonna laugh at this. We talk about like being the best in the room. I'm not even the best in the room in where I am now. And you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I know.
When we're over there at Master Elliott School, man, I'm telling you, my favorite days is when you got me, Gina, Jaden, Victoria, Bree, Alexa, Serafina. When all of us are in that room, it is like when I tell you, it is the heart. Like there's days when it happens that I hope he doesn't say, "All right, we're gonna do some rounds." I kind of just want to be like, "I'm cool with doing the drills,"
Just
because
drills,
I look at it and I'm like, "Yo." It is like I gotta go through, and let's say we go, and in my first fight always has to be Gina, and I'm always like, all right, Gina's first. Then my next fight, Jaden comes in right behind her, and I'm like, all right, well that's not an easy fight either. Then Victoria pops out and catches me right when I'm like breathing heavy. Then Bree wants to try and hit me hard the whole entire time. Then Serafina will come out and start like moving, and it makes me chase. Like it's crazy. So when I say like, it's funny you guys say like the best. Like even now when I go and train, I'm still like, yo, like I'm so low on the totem pole, it's not even funny. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, here's a great one to piggyback off of that. I'm gonna ask you this, Angel. Who's one of the best people that you've trained with that maybe someone has heard of, but really just like nobody talks about?
Someone's heard of that no one talks about. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Someone I train with currently right now. When I say it, only I think you'll know who he is, Jeff, because he did a little bit. Alex, you definitely know who he is. Jarvis Miller.
Oh yeah.
So Jarvis and Chris were the best people I trained with, and the reason why I say that is because Chris, you know, a lot of people remember when Chris was on Full Circle, he was like the Bailey of what it is now. Like he was that dude touted to be like the next biggest adult. And Chris helped me get over stepping in on kicks and helped me how to deal with kickers. Because Chris at like 18 was like a man child. He was like 185, 190 pounds and just like solid. Like he just how he was. And then he started weightlifting as he got older. So he's someone that just
no shoulders went.
like he got huge. Like they put on that high Hayabusa uniform, it looked like a yoga pant. It was crazy. So he's someone that made me get better. And then someone I train with every now and then now is Jarvis. And Jarvis is funny because no one got to see what Jarvis can do because he went to the NFL. And then now that he's in and out,
Jarvis was in the NFL?
Jarvis played for the Steelers.
Wow.
And I was training. Listen, this is what people don't understand. Jarvis went to Penn State out of Connecticut. He went to Penn State. When he went to Penn State, he transferred his last year. He did his master's at University of Massachusetts. So he went undrafted, but he knew he was going to go undrafted. And he signed like $1 million contract or something like that with the Steelers. When he signed that contract, the week before, we were just sparring. And I have the picture with him. And it's like, it's crazy because we would all train all. Now he hits me up all the time because he's doing podcasts now. Like he has Saquon Barkley on his first one. And then he had Blake Griffin on his second one. So now he's like training again. Yeah, he's training again and he's taking it serious. And that's someone like if people knew what he could do if he would have went out to adults, it would have been a game changer. Listen, I FaceTime
Wow.
Jarvis. I FaceTime Jarvis 3 years ago. He's at the Grammys sitting next to Khloe Kardashian. Then we FaceTime another time. Jarvis will FaceTime me and Bailey all the time and just will be like, yo, look at who I'm with. He's at the beach with Khloe and Kendall. And I'm like, and I told him one day, I said, yo, if you need a photographer, I'm here for it. Like, I will fly out there and everything just to photographize with you guys. Then he does like personal workouts with Cam Newton, with Odell. Like, he just works out with those guys like on their own.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, man. He's freaking nuts.
All
So
right.
that's
He was wasn't he a D-back?
Yeah. No, middle linebacker.
He was a middle linebacker. Oh,
Yeah, he was middle linebacker. Because of his and because he was so because of karate, he was so agile. He didn't have to be so big. He's like, I want to say he's like 225, 6'3", around there. So he's huge, but he was so agile that he wasn't as big as a normal middle linebacker. Mm-hmm. So he was able to just really cover a lot of range, and that's what made him so good.
Wow. That's
yeah.
Awesome. Damn. That's awesome. Man, I'm trying to think. For me, I know the person for me that was always tough and was a great martial artist, and I wish would have done more. It's SW Elliott. It's Sean Elliott's son.
Yo, dude. I've heard so much.
Oh man, and I grew up. Sean SW and I think I'm maybe 6 months older than him. So we grew up, training together, competing with each other. Not that often, but just when he wouldn't really even compete that much growing up. He would just go and train and stuff. So it's just wild. But like, he's all right. So what Sean looks like, right? Think of the complete opposite, like 300 pounds, right? And
no, Alex, for real.
No, for real.
But he was like a lightweight. Like
yeah. So he reminds me a lot of Gerald. Gerald was just a lot taller.
Yes.
Right? But this dude, 300 something pounds, hitting people with cartwheel kicks, spin hook kicks. So Steve Nasty Anderson came down to Lynchburg to do a seminar, and at the time, SW was teaching at the school. Right, Matt Nasty might have been in his late 40s, and he was joking around. He was like, "Man, nobody ever gonna hit me with a cartwheel kick." And SW did it on him. He said, "All right, I got you." But that's just what Nasty does, right? I mean, Nasty always, says that stuff, challenges him. But he's the one that actually had the balls to do it. But yeah, I mean, his nickname was Big Nasty. He was wild. He broke my nose with a hook kick just warming up.
Nasty broke your nose?
No. SW, Sean's son.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, because again, I'm like 140 pounds. He's
no, like Alex, you have no idea. Like the stories I heard, it was crazy. Like,
and you know what he does now? He's a country singer.
Country singer.
He's a country singer.
He's good too. He's real
good. He's good.
I think I've had a show, Jeff, where I've been like, you can't make this up. No. This might be the most.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because at the time, SW and I were working in the same place. This is before I had my karate school, and so we were trying to go up back and forth to train and stuff because he was trying to get back into it, and I was like, "All right, come on, let's go." So it was kind of crazy, man. But yeah, he's a great fighter. There's a lot of forms guys that I feel like that I grew up with training with that people don't talk about enough. But again, I think I shared this one time, and people still talk about him. But for me, like, when you definitely felt like you were not even in the same class of everyone you train with, I was at Charlie's school, and it was, my coach, John Valaire, Jimmy Pham, Jeff Igajiri, and myself just training together. And
Jeff Igajiri was probably the cleanest.
Dude, Jeff Igajiri is so awesome. There. And then later on that night, Arnold came in too. Arnold came in to train. And Kofi. Kofi came in to fight as well. So, so just a lot of fun. We were playing Attakick back then. This is probably, 97, 98, 99, something like that.
So your combos. So explain what Attakick is.
Yeah, so it's like I do a jump spin, outside crescent kick. So the person who goes next has to do the same thing, then add another kick to it, and we just keep going and going and going.
I'm sorry.
And-
Like the fact that you started on a jump spin crescent kick is just
that is for that
But
game.
that's
That's a basic. That's basic for that
Yeah.
game.
But that's really a good basic to start with because it's a hard one to get. You got to jump high on your first one.
Yep.
And then you go from there. But yeah. So yeah, man, it's just fun times doing that. I mean,
in those games.
yeah. So I mean, and there's more. There's probably a lot of people that I grew up with training that did really good on the NBL, and I would love to see do NASCA or vice versa. So. But yeah.
Who's yours, Alex?
Oh,
I feel like
I've had a
personally,
few.
I feel like all the dudes you trained with, they made such a rumble on the national scene. So is there someone like we never got to saw step out?
Yeah, there's one, but there's a couple. So, National Karate is really big as far as the amount of people, and I understood pretty early on that there's going to be a lot of us, so there'll be more opportunities for great martial artists from NK. So after that, I'm looking around this and I'm like, man, I don't know. Could I ever be the best fighter? I don't know. All right. Look at how many great fighters there are. Scott Masterson, John Longstreet.
Right.
And then even start getting into the later ones. Like, I don't know. Am I better than Hamid? Am I better than Greg?
Right.
I don't know. But I also do forms, right? Am I better than Nick? I didn't think I was. Am I better than Jenny? Nope. I'm not better than Jenny Johnson Blanchard. All right? So I just was like, you know what? I just want to be the best black belt. I want to be all around. I just want people to look at Alex and go, that guy's just good.
Yeah.
But there's this one guy who's he's fucking awesome. All right. At everything. All right. Every weapon. All right. This dude was a badass, could fight. But one training night, when we were all training, he made a decision that he was going to hit everyone with a sliding axe kick. And he hit everybody in the room. There might have been 22 people there. Hit every single person with that move. And I'm like, you talented jerk, right? Guy's name is James Quinn. All right. James Quinn. He won a few divisions in this tournament and that tournament and just never really committed himself to competing. And I'm like, man, you could have been a lightweight champ. But I would actually say more recently would be Ashley Dahlquist.
Oh,
that was the one that was like,
she was great.
What if?
Yeah,
If she would have been so great, so talented. But by far the best one right now that I'm training with, it's Ross Cook. Ross Cook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hold a candlestick to him. All right. I can't hold a candlestick.
Is he still doing anything or no?
He's going to come out sometime.
That's
He
awesome.
hasn't figured out when it is. I know I'm like spoiler alert, but I don't know when it's going to be because he's going to tell me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Who thought you would have gotten, your nuts caressed this last weekend? Who knew?
I told him, he was asking me to tell him what the story was that I had to tell him. I was like, yo, you just got to go on Patreon. I didn't even tell him.
Alex, were you, I'm trying to think. I guess you were around, or I don't know if he was at your school, but Brian Speaks, he was about, 7 years? Or,
dude, I got a story about
5
Brian
years.
Speaks. Listen to this.
And then we got to finish this up.
Brian Speaks. Okay. Everybody knows who BJ Carnahan is.
Yeah.
BJ Carnahan, for a long time, was just a knockout artist. I fell victim to that a couple times, right? Busted my nose. That's just what it was like training with BJ. You knew when you trained with BJ, you had to go all out. You couldn't be like, yeah, I was kind of okay today. No, you had to fight for your life, right? So there was another guy named Josh Pilquist when they were teenagers.
Yes.
BJ was not the badass. It was Josh.
Yeah,
Josh
I used
was
to
the guy.
play Josh.
I remember entering a tournament and
I used
both
to fight
BJ
Josh.
and Josh were in the division. And I'm like, I gotta have to fight one of these guys. And I drew BJ and I went, yes. All right.
Yeah.
That's how much of a badass Josh
Right.
Pilquist was. Here's why that matters for Brian Spieth. So Josh's dad. So Brian Spieth was Josh Pilquist's karate instructor. I know this is starting to go. I'm going to try to focus it. Right. So Josh's dad goes to Brian and says, "Listen, I want you to toughen this kid up." He's like, "All right. You just want to do private lessons here?" And he goes, "No, I want you to come to the house. I don't want to have this anything to do with karate school. And I kind of want you to just beat on him." He's like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, just backyard. You guys can just fight."
What the hell?
I'm kidding you. So we go, yeah, and he just beat on him. He's like making him, he's like, fight back. And he just so he basically made him a pit bull, right? So one time he takes Josh to like the mall and he's like, and he goes, "All right, you're gonna fight somebody today." And I'm like, "No way this happened." And BJ's like, "Yeah, man, I was there. I saw it happen." And he's like, "Yeah." And Josh didn't want to do it. And he goes, "All right." And Brian goes, "I'll pick the guy." Right. And I'm like, "No way." And then BJ was the one telling me the story. He's like, "Yeah, man, it was effed up." And he crushed this guy. And I'm like, "Then what happened?" And he goes, "Then we all had to run." And I'm
What
like,
the
"Why?" And he goes,
What the hell?
"So dude, it's so bad." Now,
this is like
Brian-
from a Cobra Kai episode, bro. This is like,
like that.
this is
so Brian was an extremely talented like weapons competitor too. Very
yeah,
good.
he was. All right. So growing up, I was watching him battle Brian Ruth in weapons and in fighting. Every tournament, it came down to them two.
I mean, and Brian Spieth might have been 130 pounds.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He won the short division, and Brian would win the tall, and they would go on stage and fight.
And this dude hit like he was 230, right?
Mhm.
So there's another like Paul Bunyan type tale about Brian. So this is in the mid 90s, when like people are starting to do like mosh pits and stuff like that. Brian has no clue what this is. So somebody takes Brian to a mosh pit, right? And they're like, "Yeah, man, it's gonna be great. You do this." And I'm like, I don't, that would give me a headache, but whatever. Right. So they go, and apparently Brian just lays this guy out. And someone was like, "Dude, why'd you do that?" And he goes, "Dude was coming at me."
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Freaking crazy.
Oh man! All right, so this episode did not go how I had planned it, but
But it went
I
better.
love it. Yeah, it was pretty good.
We had a Yo Mama
Your story
section.
was we did have your mama section. We had Twilight Zone. We had a 30-minute drawing conversation. We had some good training party stuff, man. Training partner stuff. This is great. So thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining in. Check out the pod next week. And again, if you haven't joined us yet on Patreon, this is how you join in, engage with us, talk to us, watch us live. Because I know a lot. It's a lot more fun to see our faces, okay, and the reactions we have. So make
How
sure
many
you
more
do
times
that.
can someone watch The Office anyway? Come on.
Yeah. And then check out all the bonus content that we have in there. We have some new shows coming up that will be exclusively on Patreon. So check it out, guys, and go register for King of New York.
Oh, yeah. This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Thanks, Angel.
See you guys.